mold and microbial growth, those are microtoxins. They get inside your cell wall and they kill you. And it mimics learning disabilities. It mimics aging. It mimics those things. So it's kind of like this silent, sneaky killer that just creeps in over time. You feel like you're getting older. You feel like you're just not feeling as good. You're carrying weight in places you shouldn't. So long story short, that's how we found out about this. And we started diving in head first because we literally lost our house because of this. So that's when I began studying building biology and what's causing this. How can we stop it?
Let's dive in. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible. I'm joined by my friend Craig Lenard, who I know through the Benham brothers. And Craig has a custom home building company. And right before you guys hopped on, or right before we started talking, he mentioned that business is booming. So I'm excited to pick his brain a bit and hear what he's doing differently. Craig, we'll start with this. Like, what brought you here? Like, tell us the story of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks, Andrew. Man, where did we get today? Where are we today? We started just by pursuing God, right? We started by trying to find out what's my authorized work today and what am I supposed to do? And that's kind of what we do every day when we wake up. We got to figure out what's that work. My authorized work is in construction. I own a custom home building business and an insulation business and a painting business. So we've got our hands in some different pots, but they're all in the construction dish. So that being said, I'm third generation custom home builder, and we build high-end luxury, healthy homes. And God's been good to us in the way of really good clients, a really good message, a vision that we can portray. Great employees and partners, trade partners. That's huge in this business, is having really, really good trades that are not my employees, but that I have to trust and work with a lot.
So tell us about your niche, I suppose. I feel like every home builder has kind of like a niche. Like we're building homes 1 to 2 million, or like our target audience is this. Like what makes you guys kind of unique, and what's your niche?
Our niche is healthy homes. So we build a home that is not your industry standard. Unfortunately, the industry standard is showing to be very detrimental to health from an indoor air quality standard. I'm actually becoming a building biologist. I'm studying to finish that. And what that is that's studying the relationship of the built environment and comparing that to nature is the gold standard. Nature is what God created for us to live in, with fresh air and nutrients and vitamins and all the things that are coming into our bodies from the environment. About 100 years ago, when we started deciding we need to make our boxes that we live in cool and warm, that's when some of these troubles started. And we're just now finding that the rewards of that are ill health, learning disabilities, aging, things like this that are not natural. So we have really honed in on the healthy home factor, creating a space where generations can thrive and live in the way God's created us to live. That's not only indoor air quality, that's selecting materials that are non-toxic, that's creating healthy water that removes pesticides, herbicides, pharmaceuticals, all of those things, and then recharges them with good, healthy things that our body needs. So I could literally talk to you for way more time than we have about all those things, but that's our niche.
I love that. Honestly, I don't know what I did on Instagram, but I clicked on one guy who was talking about the chemicals and stuff in our houses and all of the things that basically kill us and give us cancer. I've seen a couple videos about AirPods and how they're basically microwaving my brain. And I think that there's a lot of sway with that. I think that's the tides are rising, so to speak, in that the people are more conscious about those things. But I also know that that's true. Like the air we breathe, the water we drink, it all is impacting us long term. Maybe could you, in 2 minutes or less, summarize what you're learning? Because I don't know if a lot of people listening to this podcast maybe really have the conviction that you have about what you're doing.
Sure. Well, it started that I had to tear down my personal house 12 months ago. it went away because my wife was literally having trouble getting out of bed. She was so sick. We didn't see mold growing on the walls. We didn't see that. That's where this all began. My kids were having trouble learning to read, not sleeping well. I was super anxious. I was carrying a lot of nerves, and that's not me. Well, we'd lived in this home that we didn't build. We bought this home when we got married, and we had been there for 12 years. And we found that there was mold growing in certain areas. And it wasn't because of one thing, it was because of multiple construction methods that essentially fail over time. They let humidity in, they let water get places they shouldn't. And then we create petri dishes that we call our wall bay, and the insulation is just food for it. And what it does is it kills you from the inside of your cells. Mold and microbial growth, those are microtoxins. They get inside your cell wall and they kill you. And it mimics learning disabilities. It mimics aging. It mimics those things. So it's kind of like this silent, sneaky killer that just creeps in over time. You feel like you're getting older. You feel like you're just not feeling as good. You're carrying weight in places you shouldn't. So long story short, that's how we found out about this. And we started diving in head first because we literally lost our house because of this. So that's when I began studying building biology and what's causing this. How can we stop it? And from a very high level, it's controlling the humidity in the home, controlling where the water is and where it's not, controlling the toxins that you're putting into the house, and then the food sources for bad microbials that are going to grow in there. Because mold is everywhere. God created mold, but he didn't create it to grow inside your house. I find it really cool that Leviticus actually talks about removing mold from your home and from your clothes and from things so that you can purge it from your life, because it refers to it as the leprosy of the home. So it's been around for a long time, and we really need to pay attention to it now.
Okay. So business is booming. So maybe this is helpful for another builder listening to this kind of podcast. I talk to a lot of guys that kind of are just like going house to house. But if you have a niche, like, spill the tea. Like how does, like what would someone do if they're like trying to target like this particular type of home building?
Yeah. So from a builder standpoint, the first thing you need to do is educate yourself. Understand what makes these things happen in a home, and then understand what you got to do to stop them from happening. I am an open book. I feel like God has handed us a nugget of wisdom in way of having to tear down our home so that we would be forced to learn this. And I'm going to hold that nugget with an open hand. That is something that people can reach out. I want to teach you about it. I want you to know about it, because once you learn how to do this and you can prove it, people are going to come to you, because this generation is more concerned about health than they are about money. They are absolutely more concerned about health than they are about money. So they will build a more expensive structure. And by the way, it's only 3 to 5% more total to build a healthy home versus a standard home. So it's not like breaking the bank, but you got to know why and how and where to do these things. So I would love to be a resource for any of you that are out there, that you're a builder, you're doing renovations, all of those things. I do not want to be a mold mitigator. That is not what I want to do. I want to be ahead of that. I want to prevent it when we build it. So that being said, there are a lot of ways that we can learn these things together. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of active training out there. You got to really look for it. And then you got to apply some common sense to it, some biology to it, and say, okay, if I have A and B, C is going to happen. So there's some of that has to happen as well.
What are some helpful resources you've found to educate yourself? Like what are some online, or what kind of resources have you looked to kind of get educated in that space?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm becoming a building biologist. There's several different certifications within that. It's kind of like getting a master's degree. It takes about 2 years. I'll be a new construction consultant and an environmental consultant. That's through the Building Biology Institute. It can mostly be done online. There's a couple seminars you have to go to that are generally held in North Carolina, but most of it's online study. There's some online seminars and things like that, and then there's a practicum at the end. where you do actually have to go through a mitigation exercise and make recommendations. That's a huge one. Another builder, he's out of Austin. His name's Matt Reisinger. He talks a lot about this. He's got the Build Show podcast. Listen to that. You're going to learn a lot from that. Let's see. Corbett Lunsford. He has the building. I don't want to misquote the name of his podcast, but he's an indoor air specialist. He gets it. He really, really gets it. I can drop that to you. You can put that in the show notes or something for people to get to. But those are some resources that I believe are equally yoked with what we're doing, and certainly people that I listen to and glean from, because I never want to put myself in the position of being the smartest guy in the room, because that's just not true. I want to learn from other people, see where they've made a mistake and learn from it, and things like that.
Craig, what was your total sales last year as a company, and then what's your typical price point on the houses you're building?
Sure. So revenue last year was just under $9 million, and then our average currently is $2.2 million on each home.
Okay.
Now there's a range. There's a range there, from about 900 to 5.6. But the average is 2.2.
Okay. And then how are people typically finding you by referral? Is there some sort of a funnel you have? What's the acquisition model?
Yeah, we're about 30% referral. 100% of 30% closes. Referrals are strong, so we want those. We've created strategic alliances with realtors and developers here in town. I am not counting those in my referrals, because those are more of a strategic alliance where we have a deal on how we operate, and it's beneficial to both of us. So I believe that those are some of the best marketing dollars that we spend. And then past that, got to have a killer website, got to have active socials, and be pointing towards your ideal client. Don't point towards everyone. Our ideal client is very, very specific. And we have done that through creating a strategic vision and an ideal client profile. That is what I believe has created so much success in this business, because we're pointing towards the people we want, and we're not pointing towards the people we don't want.
Yeah.
And that's been hugely successful.
Let's talk about some of the sticking points you guys have in your business right now. What are some things, not necessarily keeping you up at night, but like what are some barriers you're trying to break through in terms of your business?
Sure. No, for sure. So these things, you said that well. I don't lay awake at night. I really feel peaceful about where God's got us. That does not mean I have millions of dollars sitting in the bank. It means that I feel I'm on track to be financially free, and I feel like that is a path that God's got us on. But right now, in this season, in this phase, we're doing a lot of growing. We're adding strategic hires. We have added some bandwidth to our company. But what that has caused is a little bit of a pain point in cash flow. So, I know every contractor on the planet's going to answer that answer. Cash flow is a problem. And I'll tell you what we're trying to solve is how to alleviate the fact that contractors in general are expected to use their own money to build somebody else's house. When in all reality, I will never own any portion of their house. It's on their real estate. It's their home. I will never own it. Why does industry expect for me to use my money to pay it and get paid back? So we're working really hard to fix that, where we can be paid for what we're about to do, and just tell the client, hey, you just got to trust me 30 days at a time. Something like that. That is in progress. We're really, really close. I feel like that's kind of like cracking the code. And if any of you out there have already cracked this code, please let me know, because we're struggling with that. How do we overcome that? Right now, we're overcoming that with our lines of credit, having really good, strong relationships with our banks. Outside of our lines of credit, by the grace of God, we have no debt. So we own our office, we own our vehicles, we own our equipment. All of those things are beautiful, which allows us to leverage and use these lines of credit when we need them. We never buy tangible objects with them. We only use them for job cash flow. So those get repaid back. So it's very safe. I wouldn't call that debt really. I'd call that safe debt at best, or at worst. But That's one of our big pain points right now.
Man, I can't think of a single person I've spoken to that hasn't necessarily figured out. But I mean, that's common for the construction industry. But I love that you're trying to think ahead of that and get ahead of the having people pay you in advance. Let's talk about AI for a second. How are you using it now, if at all? And then where do you feel like you could be using it, but you're not?
Sure. We're using it very preliminarily. We don't use it a ton. We have a marketing director. She's fantastic, and she's using it for a lot of script. She's using it to create content and things like that, and it has been super great in that area. Taking verbiage and doing interviews with it, and then letting it work it and bring back content has been beautiful. I mean, literally created catchphrases and portions of our vision that are so polished and clean. Um, some areas we've looked into with AI are AI reception, phone systems, things like that. Not completely sold out on that for my business model. I think that for some businesses, that's absolutely beautiful. Um, because of my clientele, I have like I said before, I have a very pointed ideal client. And that ideal client we have found does not appreciate speaking to AI. They really want to speak to Michaela, who answers the phone at our office. They do not like the AI conversation. They will hang up on that. So that's why I'm not completely sold out on that for my clientele. Now, if I was serving my own age group, I would use it. But my ideal client is 55 to 75, and they're not bought into that.
Yeah. What else can I talk to you about? Let's talk about something that fires you up. You know, you seem to have made God your business partner, which I love. You know, we know each other through the Benhams. Like what's something that lights you up or fires you up that you want to talk about?
Man, just being a kingdom owned business. So we say we've got three pillars that our company's built on. The first one is that God owns this company and that we're his managing members, and that we have to take all major decisions and minor decisions through the owner. They have to be approved through him. Second, we build healthy homes. Third, we offer a world-class building experience. But out of the three, one of those is that we are a kingdom-owned business. So being faith forward has paid dividends. Also, it pays in peace. There's so much peace knowing that I don't have to stress about where our next client's going to come from. Yeah. Can I stress about it? Do I stress about it? Yeah, I do. I'm human. You know, I wake up in the mornings wondering, man, I sure would like to close one more job this year. I would like to add one more bit of revenue this year, things like that. But then I'm able to actually shun that back and say, this is God's business. I am doing the work like David told Solomon, you know, show up and do the work. I'm doing that, and I'm trusting God with the rest. But creating that vision through his word and then using his word as a business book, that is what fires me up. I will talk about that till I'm blue in the face and use scripture to outline and define. And as you mentioned, the Benhams, David and Jason are very good friends of mine. David in particular has been a friend and a coach of mine for a long time now. And talk about a man that can speak truth into your business from the word. David Benham can do that. And he does that often to me, which is why I think this network is so critical. And what you're doing, Andrew, is so critical. Because fact is, while we're all out here doing similar things, we need to hold each other up. We need to hold up each other's arms and say, hey, you got this. Here's the truth that I'm going to speak into you. And here's why you're not going to fail. You know, that's what fires me up.
Craig, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. If people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
They can hit me up at lenardcraftedhomes.com. They can also find all of my contact information there. We've got socials on Instagram. Let's see, Instagram, I don't manage these, so I don't know them that well. That's why we have a marketing director. Instagram, Facebook, X, pretty much all of them she's got going. So you can find us there. But But our website's a great place to find my direct email and all that contact information. That's lenardcraftedhomes.com.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Don't go anywhere because I want to chop it up with you, but thanks for joining us on the pod.
All right, see you.